Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Ryan with Degenerate Passive Income coming to you on this Tuesday evening, November 18th, 2025. Ladies and gentlemen, we are here like we are every single Tuesday night for DeFi Date Night with the one and only AJ Brock from EMP Fusion, Honor versus Badness, Bernard Bonds, DexFi, Treasury Bonds, Plazm, the whole works, guys. We are here every single week being 100% transparent with you guys. Ask any kind of question that you want. It doesn't matter if you want a FUD. It doesn't matter if you want to tell us we're idiots. I don't care what it is. Please say something. Comment in the chat. What are you guys thinking? What do you want? We're going to talk about the markets tonight. We're going to talk about Bernard Bonds. Obviously, we just had a cycle end with EarnFi. Cycle was locked this morning at 7 a.m. Central Standard Time. So you're going to have to wait another 26 days to get in. Sorry. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about Plazm, obviously, the hottest and greatest thing. We're going to talk about the Perpetual jackpot, or the community jackpot is how we like it. We have a name for it. Hopefully we can announce that next week. But things are progressing, guys. And that's what I love about AJ and his team. Always adapting, always pivoting, always bringing out what the community wants and what the community needs. And that is transparency. When I talk about transparency, ladies and gentlemen, it's all about this little button right over here, where you could track every single dollar that goes into the wallets on all of these projects. It is right here for you to see. It shows what farms we're in. It shows how much the wallet has. It shows our TVL. Obviously, it's low, guys. We're going to go through that. Not that the money's gone. It's just the markets are garbage. People taking profits. It's people like Vanguard, State Street, BlackRock, ladies and gentlemen. The ETFs, the Bitcoin ETFs are actually in the negative right now. So like, it's a mess. It's a disaster. Yeah. So thank you, AJ, for joining. I know you're a busy guy. Thank you for joining me again this evening. Give me your thoughts on what's happening in the space.
Yeah, no doubt, Ryan. Another week and another DeFi date night. So happy to be here, man. And yeah, bro, I mean, I know I was joking on the last AMA that I've been questioning some of my life choices lately, but I think that really it just boils down to the long-term mindset, which we have always talked about. And as long as you have a long-term time horizon, and when we're talking about Bitcoin and ETH, we're talking potentially years, not months. That is really what matters. And, again, if you zoom out, and we highlighted this last week too, if you zoom out, the 30% corrections literally since the inception of Bitcoin have been eaten. And we have gone up and to the right over time. And there's so many different factors that go into that, are only getting more bullish in terms of the future. So, I do think that we are going to see a complete global shift into, crypto. Now, whether that's Bitcoin as a store of value or just, stable tokens being, the new fiat, so to speak, or hand-to-hand transaction currency. That is all still, again, I don't have a crystal ball, but I think that with AI and robots, another point I made many times is robots are not going to be transacting in, paper money. They're going to be transacting in digital currency, whether that's, again, Bitcoin, ETH, or stable tokens. All of this is the on rails and on ramps for the future of finance. And so, again, all that, if we had a 50% correction over to the end of the year, that will just be a blip on the radar in subsequent years. So again, I think sentiment's down. People are upset. If their new retail bought high, that always happens. People FOMO the top. They do the exact opposite of what um, you know, uh, 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 what traders or even just smart investors, smart money does. They buy the tops and they sell the bottoms, and that's what we're seeing now. I think we're seeing people that are panicking, and then it turns into a self-fulfilling prophecy where if enough people say it's going down and they're scared, then it's going to go down and people are going to get more scared. So for me, it's about accumulation. I know that you have that same mindset in terms of bonds and ETH and all the alts. that we have exposure to, I think that we're still in a good spot overall, and we just got to let the market play out at this point. So
Exactly. And I was talking to some guy because I get messages all day long. What do you think of the market, Ryan? What do you think is going on? And I tell every single one of them, it's not like I hate to see my bags getting smaller, because everybody knows I hold a ton of Bitcoin because I'm still mining it. I hold a ton of ETH. I hold big bags of BNB. I've got $17,000 Bitcoin. I've got $900 ETH, and I've got $200 BNB. And AJ has way cheaper stuff than I do. And I don't look at it as, I look at it as the next cycle down the road, the one after that even, and the one after that. I'm looking at 4, 8, 12 years down the road, when we have a 7-digit Bitcoin or whatever, then I might start taking, a little bit of profit. But for now, I just sit back and I watch, and I have some of my crypto into things like Bernard bonds, making me 72%. That's 6% a month, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. I have it into Plazm, which, the 77-day stake, we got 26 days left before that happens. Obviously, I'm not taking profits. We'll talk about that later. I've got her in 50,000 into EarnFi. I mean, I have my crypto, a small portion, into things like this to make me some passive income every month. And these are things that, I try to instill on other people now that we have a trusted team, trusted people such as AJ, and we know, top-notch security and things like that. I choose to put my crypto in. I know a lot of people are scared of ROI dApps and, things of that nature. And I get it. Like, we've all been rugged, and it's been an absolute bloodbath in the last 4 years. But, finally, I think I found my team. I found my guy, and this is what we're doing. And this is what I have been doing for, I've been in EarnFi for 6 months. Bernard Bonds is 6 months old now. Actually, a couple days ago, we crossed the 6-month mark. June 11th is when it launched. So I choose to put my, 6% a month is no joke. 72% APR. Obviously, that fluctuates, guys. It could be 60 next week. The week after that, it could be 100, 110. You never know. It all depends on the volume of ETH and everything else. We'll talk about that as well. I do want to touch on one thing, ladies and gentlemen, and that is November 15th, which was a couple days ago. Last week we talked about, I wonder if, or 2 weeks ago, I wonder if PACA Finance is going to pay out again. Well, guess what? They were supposed to have epoch number 3 on the 15th, which is, I don't even know what the date is today. It's the 18th. So that would have been like Saturday or Sunday, whatever the day is. But it didn't happen again, ladies and gentlemen. They're making excuses again, and I just want to go over the announcement that they made. It's not super long, but I just want to touch on it because I think it's important, and I feel sorry for all these people who are just buried in this protocol. And to be honest, I'm going to get AJ's opinion. To be honest, I honestly don't think anything's happening in the background, and it's a slow rug in my opinion. I hope not, because I don't want to see anybody lose money. But here's the announcement regardless. So here is right from Scott in the Telegram group. This comes from somebody else. We don't name names, otherwise they'll get kicked out too. They're still booting everybody. He says, markets are down considerably on a percentage basis, and unfortunately have been since the day we relaunched. It looks like BTC is about to break 90K, which it did, 89K yesterday, and run to the downside. ETH is down 30% in the last 3 weeks. SUI is down about 32% in the last 3 weeks, and now 57% on the year. We're basically in a holding pattern. There's no sensible way to farm in these market conditions. Long term, we still look fine. Short term, total bloodbath. Emotions set aside. The right play is to wait this out. Once again, he says, there's no sensible way to farm in these market conditions. I don't know, but you can see right here, we're making money. That is 0.2% a day. If you want to do the math, 0.2% a day is nothing to shake your head at. That's what Bernard Bonds is doing. Treasury bonds are doing like 5% more APR. So, it's very, very close, but we're killing it over here. I don't know what they got going on over there. Honestly, I'm going to give now, this is my opinion. I'm going to get AJ's after this and see what he thinks of it. But We're not going to spend too much time on it. Honestly, what I think is happening is people are buying these stakes on PACA for 80% discounts. So if you pay $200, you're getting 360. And it is, if you go over here to the dashboard or the dashboard, this number, where is it? Status, I think. This number right here is going down daily. And what I think is happening is they're buying with their own money. Scott and Lee and these guys, they're buying these own stakes. So the liability is going down. They don't have to pay any of this money out, is what I think is happening. I don't know that for a fact. The wallets aren't doxed, so nobody knows what the hell is going on. Just my opinion. So AJ, I mean, what do you think? We'll just run through it real quick.
Yeah, 100% Ryan. And again, man, we were talking before the stream here, just to preface all this. The only reason that we keep bringing up PACA and the reason that Ryan and I both care is that we want people that were affected to actually get some money out. And, 3 months now or 3 epochs now that has been no payouts, people that are selling their positions on the marketplace at an 80% loss. I mean, again, and then to have the last statement be, that in this market there is no favorable farming conditions. It's just a flat out lie. I mean, yes, obviously when we started bonds, the ETH price was higher. We've seen the same downtrend that everybody else has seen, but by no means have we lost, 80% of the fund value, 18 million down to whatever they say now, 4. And we paid out nearly $1 million between Bernard bonds and treasury bonds in only a couple of months. So all that being said, I agree with you 100%, Ryan. It's what I was kind of alluding to from day one. Is that they're trying to lower their liability through the marketplace, and they're essentially dumping on everybody's heads because they're buying stakes at dirt cheap value just because people want to salvage at least some money. And unfortunately, it's just a really dirty, for lack of a better word, way of doing it. But again, I mean, I think that at this point, they need to just make a decision. Either they do farm and pay people what they can, or they pay people out a percentage based on their ownership. With that liability split, and call it a day, man. Let people make a decision to move on or not. And we've proven that we have a real sustainable model, and people are going to see it once the alt season happens. Even now, I mean, we've been staying right around this floor in terms of ETH value, which we'll get to later, for like 3 weeks now, almost a month. So once the market does recover, bonds are going to be such a shining example of the power of what we're doing. And again, I mean, you can't FUD something that is fully transparent and literally shows every dollar that on chain immutable. And then to say that there are no that this is not great farming conditions just proves that it's a bunch of made up baloney. So anyway, that's all I wanted to say. Again, we keep going back to it just because. I mean, I would, if I was an investor in PACA, which I'm not, and I know Ryan, you were just for content purposes, but $500 here and there. But if you have more than 1,000, 2,000 bucks in PACA, you've got to be putting pressure on the team to make something happen. Because just saying okay and going with the flow, even if you do get kicked out, that money is going to be gone. So those are just some of my thoughts. Yeah.
Exactly, and I agree with you too, AJ. Take the 2 point. The current treasury right now only has 2.4. Before it had 4, but I know the assets are down or whatever. But most of them they mostly hold stable, so it's not a healthy treasury whatsoever. From 20 million or 19 million or whatever it does. So I would say do the ownership thing and be like, you know what, this is what you guys are getting. Have a nice day. Don't be stringing people along and be like, oh yeah, no epoch, this tweaks, because it's going to drive people nuts. But anyways, Scott and Lee, door is always open. Or you know what? You guys take it and you order up some bonds. on your own. Nobody knows who you are anyway. It's just a wallet. You could be paying out something. You could have been paying out for the last 4 months, but you choose not to swallow your pride, not take your impermanent loss, whatever. I mean, I don't even want to know like what farms you're in or whatever you're doing there, but because obviously it's not working out. But door's always open anyway. So with that said, we're done talking about that. We talked a little bit about the market. Here's 2021, ladies and gentlemen, where it hit in November. Obviously a high. It's 69,000 and some change. And like AJ said, you know what? Yeah, the bear came and we were down to like 16, 17,000 for like a year. And there it comes back up in 24 and 25. And me and AJ were talking about this before the stream. And I hope AJ thinks the bull's going to start running in super early 26. I'm hoping to see it in December. But we'll see. But everybody knows Bitcoin ETH. I still believe there's $170,000 Bitcoin in play. I still believe there's $9,000 ETH. I still believe that, and then the alt season starts. And that's when we really start killing the game, is when the alt season starts, obviously. And I'm excited about that. I know, AJ, you said 2026. I don't know your reasoning behind that, but maybe you just want to touch on that for a second.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, again, I am a perma bull, and I'm always, looking at the silver lining, but I try to stay realistic as well. So that was the only reason I said 2026, because, with the holidays now and, things winding down, now just coming off the government shutdown, it takes a while, even if things, again, quantitative easing, all that starts looking better for us, and a rate cut, all that. I mean, even if all that happened today, it usually takes about a month for that to actually show up in the chart, other than, just the pure by the rumor kind of deal. So that being said, that's why I think early 2026. But again, Ryan, I mean, we're breaking sticks. If you're looking at the chart in month segments, then you're probably doing it wrong anyway. So going into 2026, I think that we're in a dramatically different situation. And again, then you start getting into midterms. Obviously here, at least here in America, the current regime is going to want good economic data to get reelected, and so again, the cycle continues, right? So all that being said, I think we definitely see again, a new all-time high in Bitcoin. I still think 200 to 250K is in the ballpark. And then 100% on ETH. I think ETH people are still sleeping on. I mean, we've all but had confirmation that Wall Street and all the financial on ramps are going to be building on Ethereum. You can't build DeFi on Bitcoin. So and all the other L2s. I mean, Base is a great example. We love Base, and they have the institutional backing of Coinbase, but it is a layer 2 of Ethereum. So again, all these other layer 2s that are non EVM, they're and even layer 1s that are non EVM, they're not going to get the market share that Ethereum will, and that alone could send Ethereum to 10K. Let alone treasury companies, stockpiling ETH. Once Bitcoin gets to a certain price, the higher it goes, the more attractive ETH looks, and that will automatically drag ETH up with it, in the overall crypto market. So I think all that is still really powerful narrative on ETH, and I think that we see literally by a $10,000 to $30,000 Ethereum. That's a 10x from here. I mean, that again, 10x's are really hard to come by now on memes and other shit tokens. But I absolutely think we could see a 10x on Ethereum, and sooner than we would see a 10x on Bitcoin. So I'm
Right.
still a ETH bull for sure.
Right. Yeah, I'm bullish both on the. I would love to see $30,000 Ethereum. My God. I would probably actually have to sell a couple ETH if I saw $30,000 Ethereum, because I hold on to ETH and Bitcoin. I've never sold one Satoshi since 2000, whatever I got into it, 2014 or whatever it was. Never sold one. Don't even know how to do it. Wouldn't even know how to do it. Do not care. I'm not selling this bull run anyway, so it doesn't matter. But I'm a holder. But you know what? That can go both ways. You're trying to time the top, and when it comes time to do it, I'll probably fail miserably anyway. So, with that said, we're going to get into Bernard bonds, ladies and gentlemen. This thing has been killing it. 6,163 bonds minted, paid out over $228,000 total. I got 836 bucks. I'm gonna withdraw this. I think I'll withdraw this next week. I usually like to be over $1,000, and I withdraw. And I might even just turn it back into ETH and DCA and get myself 10 bonds with it. I mean, that's 10 bonds is 10 bonds, making me more passive income, right? So I mean, that's just me. I've already got 166 in this wallet. I've got like 120 in another wallet. Then I've got my treasury bonds, guys. I've got a little bit of everything. People are still concerned about this price right here, but guys, realize that the price of ETH is $3,100. Okay, we're sub $100 is what your bonds are worth. So AJ, I know most people know this, but I still get the question: how does the price of the bonds? How is that determined?
Yeah, absolutely, Ryan. Again, this is the number one question we get, and especially when it's going, in the down direction. If it was going up, that's funny how it works, right? We would be getting questions of why is my bonds worth more now, right? So when we do start going up, I want to hear all you in the comments saying we have a problem. My bonds are worth too much. But yeah. So anyway, again, all joking aside, yeah, the ETH value is determined by a few things. Now, the the misconception is that it's impermanent loss. So yeah, I mean, we definitely do get some impermanent loss, but not nearly the amount that people attribute to. And that's because the DexFi AILM is just so powerful. And we've said this in a few other AMAs, but when we did have the big liquidation event, only 2 of our 50 plus vaults rebalanced in a major swing. And so that shows that the system is smart enough to understand not to rebalance too often and kill everybody with impermanent loss. So obviously, like I said, there is a bit, but really what the main thing is just the performance of the alts that we have exposure to against Ethereum. So if ETH is going up and alts are going down, then that will make the bonds worth less, in both that ETH ratio and the dollar value. And so when the alt tokens that we have exposure to go up, and ETH goes up or stays the same, or ETH goes down even, then that ETH ratio gets larger, and the dollar value then is also higher. And third, if the alts are exactly the same ratio and same price as ETH at any given moment, but then ETH just goes up, and the market, it doesn't really move after that, then the dollar value will be higher. So even at 0.03 ETH, if ETH doubles from here and alts at least stay the same, then we're still looking at a $200 bond. So again, you have to look at both dollar value, the actual ETH value, and then the overall ratios of the assets. And again, you can go to DBank and look. We definitely have exposure to some mid cap alts. We're not providing liquidity on memes or shit tokens, but we definitely have to have some mixture of mid cap alts, because that is where we get the most yield. So some of these mid cap alts, they're a lot more volatile. The price goes up and down dramatically, but that volatility is more yield for us. So some of some of those are doing 1% a day in yield. So again, we don't go all in on those, because if they do go down or fail or whatever, then we're all screwed. So we have to have a mixture of blue chips and also tokens that we feel are going to appreciate, or that are just doing a lot of volume, and have plenty of liquidity and fundamentals, that still make it a good project. So, Limitless is one. It's a perps play. We have, Banker, which is an AI real revenue play. Zora is a social play, real revenue. REI, again, real revenue. Literally almost everything we're in has some sort of external revenue attached to it. So all those different tokens, again, are what we have to be in to generate the APR that we're generating. Now, again, the other saving grace is we're compounding a lot of the yield right now, and so that 70% APR, that's with compounding already factored in. So that alone also protects us from the downside, where if we even get a a, a mini alt season, we don't need alts to go to new all-time highs. We just need alts to go up 10-20% from the lows, and we're in major profit from that. So that's another really cool thing about being able to compound back in, is that we do find a floor, and then when things turn around, we have an asymmetric upside on all of these.
Exactly. Yeah, and it's all right here for you guys to see. Obviously, I mean, this doesn't give in the entry to exit points or obviously the ranges, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, that's the secret sauce is the ranges, and we'll go through that. And I was in one of these. I actually paid attention during the week, and I think it was this REI. I made like 3% a day for 4 days on this REI one. So I don't know why. I don't even know what REI is, but this was at 3%, and my average APY was like 3,600% for like 3 days in a row. I mean, I don't know what was going on with it, but I was okay with it because I mean that's insane numbers. But look I'm still making 0.8%, 0.27, and 0.23, guys. And you can do this on your own. You don't need Bernard bonds. You don't need treasury bonds. You don't need this is DexFi. This is, you create your own vault, or you just go into some ones that are advertised. You hook up your wallet, get some ETH on base, and you can do this on your own. I did these about 4 months ago, 5 months ago, whatever it's been now, and I'm making money. I can, my profit is at $75 now. I can withdraw that. I'm just leaving it in there because I don't know why. I just am. Of course, I'm the only one in this SPX position. And maybe I should ask you that, AJ. If I'm the only one, I know I'm the only one getting the yield, but should a guy exit this and to go into something else, or what does a person do?
Yeah, no doubt. So again, we're always updating ranges and LP pools. Sometimes they're on Aerodrome, sometimes they're on Uniswap. Again, it just depends on what LP position you're in. But the short answer is, I mean, yeah, for $75, probably maybe exit that one and then go into another SPX farm. We have plenty of those that have, that are either, maybe some of them are 1% pools or 0.5%. Again, all those are like different LPs within each DEX that may or may do different APR, again, just based on the volume, even though it's the same token, SPX ETH LP. So
Right.
all that, and again, that's the minutia that if this was your full-time job, you would be able to research that and look into it and know what's paying, what isn't. But I mean, the money isn't going to go anywhere. So if you want to stay in it, you can, or you can look for another ETH SPX pairing. But yeah, what matters is the actual liquidity. When you go to TVL, if you go back to that other page real quick, Ryan, just
Oh,
while I finish this thought, the TVL is what at the top there even. The TVL is what is in the vault itself. If yeah, to the right there, over, yep, right there, down. So and the liquidity right there. Yep. Oh, yep,
view
down.
liquid.
Yeah, no, you're good. Right there, just those little blue. Yeah, next to that. So
Oh, right here. Yeah.
liquidity. Yeah, TVL liquidity. So TVL is what's in that particular vault, and then liquidity is how much liquidity is overall. So the TVL just shows you what's in that vault. What matters is the liquidity itself. And we usually never provide liquidity on tokens that have less than 500K or a million, because then we know we can actually get out if we need to. So all that is again just some of the inside baseball for it all. But yeah, I don't. What was your original question, Ryan? Sorry, I don't know. Oh, you
Oh
want
no,
to show? Yeah.
just if yeah, we already answered if I should get out or whatever, and you answered that, so no, it's all good.
Okay. Perfect.
I just wanted to touch on when people talk about impermanent loss and rebalancing. This is what the ranges look like. Now, this is banker.
For sure.
Maybe you want to explain what's going on here, AJ. Where did we take impermanent loss? And obviously, this has been going since May 11th, guys. And I think these are rebalanced. These bigger lines are rebalancing. AJ, is that correct?
Yeah, 100% Ryan. So every time you see those gray bars change, that is a rebalance. And so what you don't want to have happen is, as we saw just literally one time since May, where that white line is, that's the price. And you can see right around July 23rd that the white line went out of range and then there was a rebalance. That is when you get hit with the most impermanent loss. So again, one time out of what is that, 6 months or more? Yeah, that's pretty incredible. And again, this is not made up. This is on-chain data showing it all. So, and even that being said, even when there was a rebalance, not even outside the lines, but just on big price movements, we've only rebalanced again. I don't have time to count here, but maybe 10 times in that whole in that whole time. And so as long as we're rebalancing, again, some ALMs, they rebalance like 4 times a day, and that would kill you in with impermanent loss. So we have a much better algorithm, and the AI is really been dialed in to all this. And so what you want to see is a tight range, but not too tight that we're going out or having to rebalance. So as you can see, basically all of October, even with a big downtrend in the price, we never had to rebalance once. And those gray bars, they're pretty tight. I mean, overall, again, we're not doing 2% ranges like all the degens that just get murdered with impermanent loss because, like I said, they're rebalancing 10 times a day when the price moves 1% in either direction. That is definitely what you don't want to do. Um, so again, we don't get greedy. The algorithm doesn't get greedy. It does a very moderate range, and it's smart enough to rebalance to the upside as well, which is really cool. And you can see that from October to now. The range is a lot wider at the top as opposed to the bottom. So as you can see, the height there is only about halfway, but now we're a lot lower in the range, which is really cool because when we do get an alt season and when the price goes up, because the range has been weighted towards the bottom like that, we get a lot more upside potential as well. Now, again, if the price continues to go down, we will have to eventually rebalance again. But the AILM is smart enough to know that we're in a downtrend and to keep that range more to the upside so that when it does recover, we're getting a lot more price action out of it. So all that is really spectacular. When you think about it, because we have the best AILM on the whole market. I mean, again, I'll stand by that every single day. And that chart right there shows it. So
Exactly, and that's amazing stuff. I'm glad you went over that, and maybe we should take Henry Jones. We'll get to you on the Plazm situation, but Eric asks, it's about these vaults. He says a few days ago, WETH REI went out of range for a few hours as REI took a sudden plunge. Does that mean the position was 100% in REI before it went out of range?
yeah, so again, no matter what, when you're in a range and you go out of that range, you go 100% into whatever asset it is. So in that example, yes, we would have been 100% REI. But if you had USDT or ETH or whatever it might be, and the other way around, if the price goes up so much that it's out of range, then you would be 100% in Ethereum. And when you say impermanent loss or rebalancing, what that means is you have to actually sell that. So in that example, we would have to sell 50% REI to then pair with ETH again to get back to rebalance and be in the range. Now the math doesn't work exactly like that, but I'm just trying to show for argument's sake. But however, in that particular instance, I don't think we ever did rebalance. So the other thing is that the AILM is smart enough to know that even when we do get a big fluctuation in price, it doesn't necessarily have to rebalance, especially if it's over some, an hour or a day time frame. So it will actually know not to rebalance and let the price come back into the range, and then we don't have to take any impermanent loss because now we're back in range again. So yeah, I don't know. Again, it looks like we rebalance on whatever day, yeah, like the 16th, 17th.
Yeah,
So yeah,
17th.
we did. Yeah, it looks like we did rebalance that day. So maybe that's what you mean, but it's to the upside in this price chart. So that would mean that we took the ETH, that we were all in one position, and it rebalanced back down. So yeah, what you don't want to have happen is rebalancing to the downside, and then that happening over and over and over again. And that's what happens when you have too tight of ranges. And literally your position could go to almost zero if that was the case. So just again, if you're not super familiar with providing LP, um, then I would definitely let the AILM take over. And as you can see, we were out of range right there for a while. I don't know how many, if it's by hour, before it re-triggered. Yeah. So yeah, we were,
Yeah,
yeah. So
nine,
9, yeah,
nine to
yes,
yeah, about 2 3 hours. Yeah, about 2 hours,
yeah,
2 or 3 hours. Yep.
yeah. So that's when it did rebalance to the upside. So yeah, so yeah, hopefully that answers. Um, yeah, and yeah, in the 1 week, there you go. So yeah, thanks, Eric. So yeah, as you can see, that is what happened. But ultimately, again, even with a rebalance like that, that typically coincides with a lot of high volume. So if there's a lot of high volume, that's what you said, Ryan, earlier, I think, that was a 3% return a day
Yeah.
on that, So again, the volume, and that's what yield farming is. You're giving up the potential, um, uh, you know, uh, spot price movement. Obviously, if you just held the token in your wallet and it doubled, you get a double, but you're not getting that yield, and you're still getting some of the price appreciation. So if it doubles, say maybe you only get 50% to the upside, but you're earning yield the entire time, which in the long run will outweigh any volatility in terms of spot price. So that those are again, it's a whole. You can't compare apples to oranges. Yield farming is a whole different, uh, yield or price or yield producing asset or income generating asset, just like you would have, real estate or a business or anything like that. Holding tokens, speculating on whether they go up in value or don't, is a totally different investment. So again, we prioritize the yield through what we're doing for sure.
Excellent. Hopefully that answered your question, uh, Eric. So yeah, but good. Yeah, good question though. We went over that. We went over we know how the APR is involved. You guys know I have 166 positions. Now, remember, when you buy a bond, you buy it with ETH on base, guys. When you sell a bond or redeem a bond, you unstake it. You go down here to redeem. Boom. There is a 10% fee for selling your bond or redeeming, as they say. The 10% fee does not go to me. It doesn't go to AJ. It goes to nobody. It stays in the vaults. That 10%, it stays in the vaults, earning, from the liquidity farming and rewarding us investors that are in this for the long run. We're making a little piece of that 10% pie every single month. That's how things should work, guys. It's rewarding us for staying in it. And let me be perfectly clear when people, because I still get the question, hey, I only want to go in this thing for like 2 months. I need some quick cash. I tell them, don't bother. Save your money, pay your bills off now, or whatever you need to do with it. You're not going to get ahead because of the 10% fee. This isn't short term, guys. If you're looking for short term money, you're going to get wrecked no matter where you go. Okay, short term, the short term mindset that is not good, especially this time of year with the bull hopefully coming in the next 30 to 60 days. You need to think long term. Think in late 2026, early 2000. Think of the next cycle. When this APR settles out at, say when the bull hits, maybe we're at 100 or 110 or whatever it's going to be. That is insane percentages. That's why I'm building positions every single week. I'm building more and more positions because I'm dollar cost averaging the bonds. I paid $275 each for these bonds at I bought 166 of them. Okay. Right now they're $98. So the more I buy, the less each of these bonds have cost me because I'm dollar cost averaging back into them. I'm doing it in another wallet, obviously, because I want to keep track of every time I'm keeping track of a different wallet because I want to keep track of different accounts and with my P&L here, P&L there. That's just the way I want to do it. So, guys, this current fund value of 605, this has been over 900,000 before. We're down because obviously the price of ETH is down, and so are the assets that they're paired with. Okay, so don't freak out. Things like that. It's not worth it. I don't know. Did I say everything right, AJ, or did I miss something?
Yeah, no, I think that's great. A great overview, Ryan. Again, this is meant to be a long-term mindset project. We say that with everything. And again, I went on a little rant at the beginning in terms of the market, but I'll go and do it again a little bit. I think the days of people thinking that they're gonna just get in crypto and become millionaires overnight, that has put us in the position that we're in now with the sentiment being so bad. The days of being a crypto millionaire overnight are just not a thing anymore. But you can be a crypto millionaire over a year or 2 years or 3 years. And that is the sort of mindset that you got to have because it's about doing things responsibly and getting involved in quality projects, having exposure to blue chip assets and mid cap assets that, again, produce yield. And one of those may do a 10 or 20x, and now you get the upside potential too. So it's good diversification. It's good, portfolio management. And like you said too, Ryan, it's not about going all in. I think people that are worried about the price of bonds week to week or day to day, that is probably a sign that they may have put maybe a little too much into bonds. So, if you're trying to make a living from crypto, and you don't have another income stream, it puts so much more pressure on you as well. So those are just some things that you got to really keep in mind. And we've said it from day one. We never say go all in. If you have some yield from bonds, you can use that to, use the yield to pay for bills or to speculate on other projects or DTA in. There's 20 different ways to do it, and none of them is the right answer. It's all an individual, decision and based on where you're at in life. So again, if you're a younger person with, more risk, then I would definitely recommend compounding, into the protocol, trying to build your bags. If you're somebody that is just doing this as, overall portfolio, then you can be a lot more flexible where it's not this pressure to 10x overnight. So just keep all that in mind. And again, I get it. We're all here to make money, so that's not me saying that you're not gonna make money. It's just me saying to have more realistic expectations. And like you said too, Ryan. I mean, the APR alone, even if things stayed exactly the same, within a year, you're almost doubling your money anyway, which is incredible. I mean, you don't get that in real estate, you don't get that in stocks. I mean, even if you're, trying to leverage, like those returns are nowhere near what you could see, and you still get the exposure to the underlying assets. So, um, again, I mean, I think bonds are the pinnacle of what we have done in DeFi for sure. And it's only a matter of time before people, realize that. And again, once sentiment changes and we get an alt season, even if we don't get an alt season, we're always, adjusting the allocation. So like we could just allocate more to Bitcoin ETH LPs. That means that the fund value would be a lot more steady. We may not get as high APR, but maybe that's what we have to do for a few months. So we have so much flexibility as well. And again, it's all transparent. It's not going into my wallet or Ryan's wallet. It's all part of the fund growth and what we have built with DexFi.
Exactly. And any money that gets deposited in Bernard bonds, guys, this is just a white label, service for my people. And that's just it all goes into DexFi treasury bonds, guys. It's all there right here. They've got 20,810 bonds minted here. We've got like 6,100. So I mean, this is over 3 times as big. They're about 5% more APR this week. I have a ton of treasury bonds too. Okay, I'm into both of them. If you're heavy into Bernard bonds and tell yourself, oh, I should get some more, get a couple treasury bonds. If you're heavy into treasury bonds, get a couple Bernard bonds. Like spread it around a little bit. There's no right or wrong answer here because history has shown that these are very close in the last 6 months. And obviously the price of the bonds has always been within like $5 to $10 difference. It all kind of evens out with the APR, guys. And the only reason why they're different is because DexFi treasury bonds are 3 weeks older than Bernard bonds. Okay, treasury bonds are first. Then we came out with Bernard bonds. So there was different positions. All right, the same bolts, couple different positions, not the end of the world. It's that all is the same thing. All right, guys. So just want to point that out. Bernard bonds all goes into DexFi, into the private vaults, just for Bernard bonds and treasury bonds. And that is how the money is allocated. And obviously, everything is right here for you to see. When you go click this button, it brings you to this. You can see the whole portfolio. You go over to transactions. You can see when people have minted, when we've taken profit, everything is here for you to see. There is no smoke and mirrors. There's no garbage. Here's someone redeemed a bond. Good for you. Thank you for your 10%. Thanks for the donation. That's the way I think of it. I encourage people, you need the money that bad, go sell your bonds. I'll gladly, the 10% can stay in there earning for the rest of us. So just wanted to point that out. Anything else you want to talk about with the treasury bonds or Bernard bonds, AJ?
Yeah, no doubt. Just one more quick thing, and just in terms of the payout, which is again undeniable. I mean, closing in on $1 million within a few months that we've been operating on not a lot of capital when you look at the percentages. So when we started bonds, both Bernard and Treasury bonds, ETH was like over four grand, I think, or right around there, 4,100, somewhere in there. So to have a 30% drawdown on the underlying assets, not to mention even more on some of the alts that we were providing LP for, and to be able to pay out nearly, at today's value, what, 30% of the overall fund value has been paid out already. I mean, when you start thinking of it like that, it's just it's what I like to say with our EMP protocol. It's unfuddable. I mean, you can't fud it. I mean, all that is there. The math doesn't lie. The numbers don't lie. And really, it's just a matter of time before we get more and more TVL in to be able to ride it on the way up again. And that's when I think we're really going to see the bonds shine is when, alts and ETH starts going up. Now you're earning, I mean, if you're buying today, now you're earning an APR and your principal balance is going up. That is the holy grail of investing. So that I think is going to be really cool to see as we move into 2026 for sure.
I think so too. I mean, I like, I'm definitely, when this hits 1,000, I'm going back in. I still hope I can buy 10 bonds for $1,000. That's insane because I can only buy about 3.5 bonds when this first started. So that's like a 3x off the top in my head. And when ETH hits, in my opinion, 7, 8, 9,000, obviously AJ is way more. Just think of the price of that bond. You bought it at $98. And all of a sudden that sucker's worth, 10x would be what, $1,000 a bond, right? I
Yeah,
mean, that would
for
be
sure.
insane to have your bond is worth $1,000. Then there's probably be some redemption, but then look at the 10% that we're going to get. Everybody's going to be maybe smart people won't dump their bonds because now they're going to be earning, because this number will obviously go up, the position number. They're going to be earning a juicy APR on a bigger number. I mean, so it's like a win-win either way. Whether you're dollar cost averaging in, you're still making a juicy APR. There's nothing else like it in the space, guys. I mean, we need to be honest. And like AJ said, it is unfuddable because everything is on chain, and that is what I love about this because it's 100% transparent. That's why you see no videos about Bernard bonds or treasury bonds or DexFi. There is no FUD. They can't FUD. Okay, it's impossible. I wish I could make a video that could FUD it, but I can't. Usually I could try to find some FUD, but I wish someone would do it. But you know what? Maybe they will one day, and we'll have to go debunk the whole situation. But with that said, I think that is enough for Bernard bonds and DexFi. AJ, I want to touch on. What's the situation with the community perpetual jackpot protocol that we talked about last week? Do we have an estimated date? How is the development coming? Maybe you could explain how it's going to work real quick. I know people are getting excited about it.
Yeah, absolutely, Ryan. So yeah, I think it's a great way segue into the next topic. And again, we're going to talk about Plasm as well. So we just to back up all the way really quick, Plasm has had an amazing effect on bonds because all the new money coming in is essentially adding to our treasury in terms of bonds and in terms of Plasm to DCA, get better positions, and continue the yield without any quote unquote new users going directly into bonds. So I bring that up because we wanted to have a very similar flywheel, so to speak, for Bernard bonds. So again, we didn't want to come up with another platform that would take away TVL or essentially allow us to compete with ourselves. And so this whole idea, again, through the community, and some other anonymous whales, they came up with this idea of a perpetual jackpot that is fed by bonds. So on the last AMA, we went through an overview of how it's going to work. And again, when we're ready, we'll have a full white paper and everything else. But the long story short is, think about it as a sweepstakes or drawing that happens every Friday, and all the tickets that are used to buy in, that goes into Bernard bonds, and then the yield is what pays out the weekly jackpots, and then there is still a main jackpot for the full amount, which again, in that case, we would have to liquidate the bonds that are bought with this protocol. But like Ryan said a minute ago, that's really bullish because if we can get 1 million, 2 million, 10 million, who knows how much bonds, then when they are redeemed to pay the jackpot winner, that is upwards of hundreds of thousands of dollars that stay in Bernard bonds and boost all of our ownership and yield on what's left. So it's literally a win-win-win. There'll be again side pots for weekly prizes a ticket is only going to be $2, and we'll have a lot of random and participation payouts each week. And so the whole idea is that this will also increase TVL in Bernard bonds and give people a chance to win. And again, I think once people actually see it in action, they're going to be really excited because we've never seen a perpetual um, jackpot like this fueled by real yield. So again, even if nobody goes in, the jackpot only grows week to week, which is crazy. So that I think can really have some FOMO. We will have a very juicy referral program as well. Again, because of the yield, we can do referral programs now without being a net negative to the TVL. So we have a lot of really cool stuff coming, and yeah, hopefully next week we'll be able to drop the name and maybe even some screenshots. But we are shooting for the end of the month, early December. So
Yeah, so be looking about more information. That I'm excited about that because first of all, like AJ said, it's going to fuel Bernard bonds. It's actually going to be real yield that's going to be given away. So it's not like some pyramid scheme or Ponzi scheme that and that's the only way we can have the referral system is because it is real yield. That's why we can have the referral system, guys. So you can get a buddy in. It's $2 who can't afford $2 or 20 or whatever you're going to put in. I know I'm probably going to be putting in, I don't know, $100 a week or a couple, whatever it's going to be. I don't know. We'll do it live every Tuesday night. I'll buy my tickets or whatever we're going to do. I don't care what we do, but we'll figure something out. Maybe we'll give some tickets away or whatever. We'll figure it out. But I'm super excited about that. So be looking for a next week. Hopefully we can do the name. Or we can give maybe some screenshots, stuff like that. So be prepared for that. Now,
yeah. And one more thing too, Ryan. I just remembered again on the transparency note. Another question that we got last week was the verifiable randomness. So the other really cool thing is that we'll also be utilizing Chainlink, which is the industry leader in verifiable randomness and oracles. So again, there's no literally everything we do is fully transparent. You'll be able to see all that on chain, not only where the money goes, but also verifiable randomness for the winners as well. So
okay, sure, yeah. I mean anything we can show, guys, we'll show obviously because this is what the space needs. This is what the people want, and that's what we're building, guys, every single day, 24/7, 365. They do not stop. So along with that, we're like how many days into this sucker? 51 days in. So that means we've got 26 days left of the 77-day cycle. I'm excited about Plazm. It has absolutely blown the TVL up in treasury bonds. So the TVL is going, it's real yield, ladies and gentlemen. We'll ask AJ, however, we'll look at my stakes. He can let us know what's going on with them. I know there's an easy mode button we need to talk about again because this is only the second week of that. There is a referral system. You get 2% of the ETH and things of that nature. We've got $2.66 Plazm and 1640 ESHARE. That's changed in the last hour because almost $4 and $20 here. So I don't know what happened to the chart. Oh yeah, we got some selling going on here.
Yeah, we got some dumpers. All right. Yeah.
So we've even got Jeets and ESHARE. But you know what, guys? These are the type of people. I don't want to talk bad about anybody, but these are the type of people that either over leveraged or because I guarantee if we went and looked back at these wallets for this, whoever this person was that dumped, I bet you they bought higher than they dumped at. So I'm just saying, but this is what people do. And we talked about this earlier. They're buying the top, selling the bottom. And, the world needs people like that. Okay. But they're only hurting themselves. They just sold for $3. They made the chart drop $3. Whatever. I don't even look at that because we've got 26 days left of this cycle. And I'm excited about that. And I know that we had a question on Plazm. Can you go over what will happen after day 77 when many day one creates were done for the max 77 days? Of course we can, but I tell you what I'm doing, Henry Jones, I know you've been on here. I'm doing one thing, and I've already committed to go 5 cycles of my stakes here these two creations, I got one through ESHARE and one through USDC. I'm going 5 cycles of compounding and going right back in. On one of them, I'm going to do a create, and one of them I'm going to do a stake. I don't care what the easy mode tells me to do, but I'm doing it manually. I don't care if I get destroyed on one and make a fortune on the other, but I want to make my own decision. And we're going to see at the end of the 5 cycles, that's 385 days, ladies and gentlemen, what performed better. And you guys are going to get to see it live every single 77 days. We're going to do all this live right in front of you on Tuesday night to show you what was the right play. And I think at the 385 day mark, I'm going to be the one throwing the party. And everyone else is going to be like, you know what? Damn it, I wish I would have done that. Instead, I took my profits and I put it into something else, or I did something wrong, whatever. You guys do you. I'm going to do me. I think I'm going to be the one laughing in the end. AJ, tell us what's going on with Plazm, because I love it.
Yeah, man, no doubt. So Plazm has been just an incredibly resilient platform, even with it being very new and the market, being super volatile. And honestly, the system has been designed to, weather the bear market just as much as a bull. So obviously, this right as we got on stream, it seems somebody dumped eShare, but you're gonna get that with eShare. I mean, eShare's gonna dump. But even then, it only dumped, a $10,000 sell. It looks like, only brought us down like two bucks, $3, something like that. And again, as the price goes lower, it has a less and less effect on the liquidity as well. So I think again, we are going to have people that take profit and leave, and that's okay. What they don't understand is the buy and burn. So the buy and burn is incredibly powerful, and what they think they just made with a $10,000 sell or whatever, overall, I mean, it could be uh, uh, exponentially more than that. Put it that way, because what we've done is we put all the incoming ETH that is used to create Plazm into the treasury. That treasury is then used to buy. Yep, right there, perfect. So that, and we just added a few stats too. So I wanted to make sure we covered this. But as you can see, even with the market going down 30%, we still have about a 110, 111 Ethereum value in bonds, and these are in treasury bonds. That is roughly, 19% of the overall ownership in treasury bonds, and it's doing roughly $700 to $1,000 a day in yield. And so, that person that just sold for whatever it was, they could have the chart could be right back where it started within 4 or 5 days because of this buy and burn. And it's a buy and burn that doesn't deplete. So because we're always growing the treasury, when we get to 200 ETH or 300 ETH over the next few cycles, that's literally thousands of dollars a day buying and burning, and that benefits both eShare and Plazm. So what happens is the buy and burn, again, just to give round numbers, $1,000 a day, that has to go and buy eShare first. So again, that would push the price of eShare up. Then the eShare is used to buy Plazm, and because it's an eShare Plazm LP, it doesn't have the same effect as if it was selling eShare for another asset. Um, and so it's a win-win for both. And because we're burning that Plazm and pushing the price of Plazm up, that automatically brings the price of eShare up as well. So it's this like, cyclical effect that is net positive for both the price of eShare and Plazm. And so again, Ryan, you said it earlier, the right mindset, and again, people are going to do whatever they want. People will sell and leave. That's fine. We can't control that. What we can control is just showing them the power of the future. And so if you had a 1 year mindset and now you're taking the Plazm that you created and you're putting it back in to the system, and again, that's not encouraging compounding. You're more than welcome to take your profit, maybe take your initial out or do whatever you want with that. But the whole idea is that you want to earn as much in the protocol in terms of supply as you can, because then the buy and burn kicks in, and we haven't even turned the buy and burn on yet. We've just been sitting there letting it accumulate until we see the price really start to be affected, and then it sets a floor, and it's only up and to the right after that, because nobody will ever be able to buy as much plasm as what they're able to earn going back in. So again, Ryan, I mean, you could have literally, $100,000 worth of plasm and only have spent, 10 or whatever the number might be, to create it. So you really got to learn how plasm works. And if you're just trying to get in and sell, you still may be able to make profit, which is what we saw just now, probably, but you would have made, way more profit had you just been able to play it the way it's intended. So yeah, hopefully that helps. And yeah, you can see there. One thing I did realize after our last AMA, Ryan, um, what the difference on these two are is eShare. So you created both of these creations, but you did one with ETH and one with eShare, and that's why there's a bit of a price difference on what you're getting back as well. So it's not really about timing. As long as you're in on each day, it doesn't matter if you're early or late. But yeah, that's why there's a bit of a difference between the two. And so again, eShare was a lot higher, I think, when you did that creation, because it was right around the hype cycle. So there's also some game theory to that, of maybe creating, well, eShare is low with eShare, or just using ETH. But the easy mode gets rid of all that manual math. So we'll talk about that next. But yeah, these are your positions, right? Yeah.
Yeah, these are my positions. So I created 189 plasm. So that would have been on day one. And I've earned almost 10,000 plasm, which right now is worth, well, whatever it was, about $3. Well, oh yeah, total value. So I spent 1540, which it was a little more than that because ETH was a little further, but I know it was $2,000 in ETH because I did the math. I wanted to put $2,000 with ETH in, and I wanted to put $2,000 with eShare. So it's exactly what I did. So right now it's worth 27,000. So that's what? That's a 30. What is that? That's a 15x, almost 14x.
Yeah.
Obviously these ROIs, guys, they're not, their numbers on the screen, because at day 77, 78, 79, things are going to happen. Okay. And we're going to talk about that a little bit, but these are just, there I started on the September 29th when it launched. I think it was about 2 to 2.5 hours before or after it launched. So I got in, I'm trying to think, around the $18 mark on I can't remember the numbers. I should go look back then when that was, and here's when it ends. Obviously on day 77, we're 65% through. I own 0.11 and 0.15% of the ownership, and I've got 1.51 million shares, 1.12 million shares, and 1.89 power and 2.55 power. So, I mean, that's, it's crazy numbers on the screen, and obviously things will happen on day 77. And maybe we should talk about that, right? Maybe we should talk about the easy mode first, AJ, because we've got 5450 on creates right now, and we've got 6,600% APR on the stakes. And obviously, those are crazy numbers, and staking looks better right now. Easy mode, I love this thing. I haven't used it yet. What's happening with this thing?
Yeah, 100%, Ryan. So again, and this all ties together too, with about day 77. So everybody's fear is that, this is all dashboard money, and on day 77 everything goes to zero. Well, again, there's some truth to that, but number one, it definitely won't go to zero, and number two, again, the only way that we can calculate ROI is to show the ROI in terms of the actual dollar value. So when you see a 6,000% ROI, if Plasm stayed the same price by the time you get your release, then that is 100% true of what it would be. So we don't have a crystal ball. We can't, determine what the price will be in the future. So we just have to show what, the real data is. Now, that being said, again, yes, a lot of supply will come out on day 77. However, I don't think it's going to be as catastrophic as people realize for a few reasons. Number one, that's when we turn the buy and burn on. So again, if there's a $10,000 dump, uh, or whatever it might be, we could be back right at the same price within 2 or 3 days if we turn the buy and burn all the way up. So that alone is massive. Number two, I don't think that we see all the supply being sold because a lot of people understand the system, and that's been a real benefit of how we were able to roll this out. Not we've had very organic growth, and people that understand how the system works. So we don't see people just exiting and leaving. We see people trying to accumulate because they know that that will be more profitable in the long run because they're familiar with the math. And again, the math doesn't lie. So, and then another factor is a lot of the early stakes and creates were from known whales, allegedly, that want to support the system. So, again, that alone could be a large number of supply that's going back into the system as well. And so, all of those things are, again, mitigate the potential sell off. And even if there is a giant sell off and Plazm goes to, whatever, 10 cents, that would mean that the buy and burn is able to buy and burn way, way more of the Plazm supply. And that actually makes everybody else holding Plazm in much more profit in the long run. So there's many mechanisms that we've never seen. And all this, if we didn't have the real yield feeding the buy and burn, everything I say is irrelevant. So the fact that we have put real yield on top of this has never been done before, and really is the secret, puzzle piece of success. I mean, again, as long as you have a long-term mindset, it's nearly impossible to be in, to not have a profit in the protocol as long as you have a long-term horizon and that the yield continues from bonds. So all that is really powerful. And one of our OGs, Mufalada, I call him Mufasa. He did a really cool post today that shows the treasury as well. With like we were saying earlier with bonds, if the market recovers, we could see bonds double and triple just without any new users. And that applies for the Plazm treasury as well. And so now we're earning on $1 million in the treasury rather than 300K. And that also, again, would severely increase the profitability for those that did stay instead of just cheating and leaving. So all those things are cool. And then the other magic bullet is easy mode. So rather than having to learn, all the complicated math of creating and staking and what's better and what's not, and then how do I sell Plazm? How do I profit? How do I do this? How do I do that? Everything is solved with easy mode now. So now, again, Plazm is part of the input amount. So if you get a big amount of Plazm, but you want to stay in the system, all you do is go there and select Plazm and do another 77-day length on there, and it will automatically convert into either staking or creating whatever is more profitable with the Plazm or ESHARE or USDC or ETH, all of that under the hood, and it will automatically determine what is the higher ROI for you again. And funny enough, that is also the most beneficial for the ecosystem. So again, right now staking is more profitable, and that will, because staking is more profitable, that is also what's better for the ecosystem because that will help the price recover better in the short term because now the supply is being bought and staked. So again, it's all by design. The system is incredibly powerful and based on math. And again, shout out to Cryptographics. He is the creator behind Taurus and Unity, which is a fork of what we have at Plazm. And then we put the other bells and whistles on it with the real yield and the easy mode, and now all this has come together into honestly, one of the most bullish protocols we have ever built in 5-6 years of DeFi. So I'm still really, really bullish on this.
Yeah, I mean, this. I can't wait till day 77. Where do I find that graph, AJ, that shows?
Yes. Yeah, great question. So go back to stats, Ryan, and then it'll be right there. So that
Oh, yeah, there we
fusion
go.
watch, yep. So
Yes.
yeah, this is a great again, a great overview of the protocol as well. So, we're still getting many creations or stakes every day. Engagement is good. Um and then yeah, if you scroll down right there, you can see the majority of supply really doesn't start coming out till day 76, 77, 78. And again, uh, it's also being smoothed out though. So at the height, um, that 77-day release was about 4 million Plasm. Now it's only about 2 million Plasm. And why that happens is the future supply is taken from one overall pool. And so as new people create, that supply is spread out over the new users as well. And so this is really cool because number one, it dilutes the large unlocks. And again, dilution is not necessarily a bad term because you have every opportunity to increase your share as well as a user in the protocol to begin with. But what it does is again, because it's all from the same pool, it basically smooths it out and also allows those that were not on day one, because another downfall of a lot of these protocols is um, those that got in early are the only ones to make money. And that's because they get a big part of the supply, and then it spirals from there. The way this is designed, you have a very fair chance. Again, assuming you get in with the first year, there is a decay on the amount of plasm that's released, but it's over 20 years. So as long as you're, early within years, you have the same opportunity. And so again, that's a really cool feature that new users don't feel like they can't get involved because everybody already made all their money. So that's another reason that it's super sustainable. And then yeah, the last point was just again, um, being able to see the supply come out and the floor. Yeah. So ultimately, again, now we just saw the floor price go down because people sold Plazm and ESHARE. But at some point in the first cycle or second cycle after day 77, we should see a floor price of Plazm. And so once that happens, that means that the buy and burn is able to keep up with the amount of supply that's coming out. And then we just see a slow up and to the right of price appreciation on Plasm, regardless of those that are selling, because again, people can only sell once, right? So once they sell, that's it. They have to buy in again or create again to get more Plasm. So that is so powerful again with that buy and burn. So
Excellent. Yeah, and these are awesome. Guys, if you got a couple extra bucks, donate to this wallet down here. It's not mine. It's the obviously it's
yeah,
a
Grover and John.
it's Grover. He's in here, Furry Blue Me. He's an absolute saint and a legend in the Telegram group. He's always in there answering questions, taking the time. He's got way more patience than I do. He is super smart. So go in there and ask questions. I know Peter Jarquin has been asking questions here. Anything that has been asked in here, he already answers for us, AJ. I don't even know why we even talk and ramble on, but
I know. We're just gonna we'll shoot the shit. Let Grover handle all the hard stuff.
yeah,
So yeah,
exactly. But yeah, this is Plazm, guys. Like I said, easy mode. It takes everything. It takes USDC. It takes ETH on base. Everything is on base, guys. So USDC, ETH on base, and it takes Plazm and it takes ESHARE. So it takes all four. Super easy to get in. Got the easy button, the easy mode. Like I said, I've already committed to full 5 77-day stakes, and we're going to see who's the winner at the end. And I can't wait for that day to happen. It's going to be awesome. We're going to do it live here every 77 days, and that's coming up in like 4 weeks before the first 77 days is up, and we'll see if how many Jeets we got, and we'll see what happens. But I know, like AJ said before, known whales are in, and that hopefully, they stick to their word, and then they're just going to throw it right back in. I know I am. Mine was only like $4,000 worth. Not that that's not a little bit of money, but there's people with bigger bags than mine in here. So big people in here, guys. So that's anything else we need to touch on Plazm, AJ?
No, I think that was great. Yeah, we do our own AMA every Thursday, where we go into Plazm again. But I love doing the deep dive with you too, Ryan. And yeah, I mean, mentally prepare yourself for the price of Plazm, to be volatile, but over the subsequent cycles, again, and a cycle is every 77 days. So when we start getting in 150 days, a year, it just gets more and more powerful. And yeah, I can't wait to see you're gonna be the guinea pig, Ryan. I swear, after that year is up, bro, you're gonna be sitting real pretty. I'm not a betting man, but I would put a lot of money on that. Those that are around for at least a year are gonna kill it. So
yeah, well, unfortunately, I am a betting man, and it's wrecked me a few times, and it's made me some good money other times. But I'm excited to see it, and I'm happy to do it because this is what it's all about, guys. And it's going to be documented for you guys to see what would have happened if I would have put this much in. Because even if you put in like $500 in day one, you could take my numbers and divide it by 4, right? Because I put in 2,000, you can divide it by whatever, and that you would see, what would have been made in 1 year. So I'm happy to do it just for the content, because everybody knows I'm an idiot and I ride things till the wheels fall off. That's just me. I'm a true degen, and that's how I roll. But let's see. So that's about it on that. I know we just had a payout in EarnFi, AJ. We've got at 7 a.m. this morning, we just went into a 26-day lock. As everyone sees, I have 50,000 in there. We made 1% last month. I know everyone's like, oh my God, 1%. You only made $500. I withdrew it. I left my 50,000 back in. I did absolutely nothing for that $500. And plus this EarnFi gives me, it gives me an opportunity to get into the S&P 500. Obviously I have stocks and stuff before, but S&P 500 and the AI trading bot that Jake and his team have built. And it's paid me for the last 6 months, every single month. I've got 6%. I've got 18% 1 month. I've got 12. I've got 3. This month was a little slow. It was 1%. So we're locked right now, guys. It takes USDC and ETH. You won't be able to deposit for another 26 days. But you know what? We didn't have anybody take a bunch of money out. So tell us what's going on, AJ, with EarnFi real quick.
yeah, 100%, man. So again, obviously not the best month that we were hoping for, but any month that we didn't actually lose money is a win, man, for sure. And again, like you said, even annualized 1%, we're still outperforming other traditional avenues. But yeah, it's been killing it. 6% is our target. And if we don't hit that target, then we don't make any money. If we do everything above that 6%, is a 60-40 split in favor of the investor. So we only get 40. And yeah, I mean, again, this is just another tool in the tool belt. So it's been performing well. No guarantees. It still could all go to zero tomorrow, and that's just this week again, or this month. Just really was the bot trying to figure out what to do. I mean, we've trained the AI bot on a bunch of data, but sometimes, rather than taking risk or doing a potential unprofitable trade, it would just not trade at all. And so, again, that means less returns, but at least capital is preserved. So, in my mind, it's still working as intended. We still monitor it. Hopefully, this month will be better again, more towards that 6%. And in the beginning, we were doing 12 and 24%. So who knows what it can do. Again, we're not here to predict the future, but we just, offer different, avenues to try to make some money. So yeah, and again, just to clarify too, this is my original developer with EMP, Jake. Both their names are Jake, but this is not a DexFi protocol, but we're all family at this point, and this is just something that we were excited to dive into. So
Yeah, and this is still in beta, guys. Like I was in this privately with AJ for 3 months, and then I brought it out in May or June or whatever it was, and I started talking about it. I mean, there's only 183,000 bucks into this thing, so I've got like what 25 over 25% of the TVL, and I'm okay with it. I'm okay with being the guinea pig. And I'm going to share with you guys whether we have a win or a loss or what's going on. Since I've been in with this 50,000 for 4 months now, this 50,000 has made me like I think 13 or 14,000 bucks in 4 months. That's nothing to sneeze at. I've done absolutely nothing for $14,000 in the last 4 months, so I'm okay with it. And I think everyone else is. That's why they didn't pull their money out. But because I know Tweet James says, believe me, most of us in stocks have been taking some heavy losses. The fact that it's net positive, definitely, it is a win. It is a win for sure. My God, what happened to my NVIDIA this week? Oh my, that was disgusting. But anyways, that's another story. I have huge bags of NVIDIA, but I don't worry about it really. Those are for things down the road, maybe even for my children down the road, because I don't really look. I keep track of it, but you hear about it on the news, and you're like, oh wow, that's gross. But anyways, back to EarnFi, guys. It takes USDC, ETH. It's no fees in, no fees out. 6% is the target, no guarantees. We did 1% this month. $100 minimum, and anybody can play. There's tons of wallets with $100 in them, and they just choose to let their $100 ride. Maybe they'll ape in a couple months. Maybe they'll get out. You can withdraw your capital and your rewards, or your rewards. You can compound. You can do whatever you want. Your money is not locked except for the 26 days. Exit anytime in the 96 hours after the timer is up. You got 4 days, and it's fee free. It's going to cost like $1 in gas, sometimes even less. And I got my $500, and it's sitting still in my wallet right here. There's my 500 right there, 500 USDC. I pulled that out this afternoon, and I'll probably buy some bonds with it. I don't know what I'm going to do, so I haven't decided yet. But it's just another tool in my toolbox, guys, of passive income. I did nothing for that $500, so I'm happy to throw out my wallet and do as I please with it. All right, guys. So like I said, AJ said 60-40 split, anything over 6%. They don't make the 6%, team doesn't get paid. All right. So it's not like anybody's gouging. They're working with it's licensed and insured broker, guys. Very important. So some brokerage from overseas just can't run off with the money and things of that nature. So it's been amazing. And I'm all in. You guys see it right there. You guys don't think it's my money? Go back in my videos. I show you the bank wire. I show you the spritz transfer, buying the crypto. I show you everything. Obviously, I show you everything because I don't care. All right. I don't need to show you my bags, but I do. Because I want you guys to know I'm in there with my own money, and it is my money. It wasn't given to me by the owners, wasn't given to me by anybody. Okay. My own money. I earned it. This is what I choose to do with it. So anything else you want to touch on with EarnFi or anything else, AJ, before we call it?
Yeah, man, no doubt. I know we've been doing about an hour and a half now. We got a lot to go over, but I think we did a great job covering everything. One last thing with EarnFi, I know we are also still working on potentially releasing the bot that we use again, rather than doing predictions and being able to trade stocks in crypto markets. Again, it's a little bit less barrier to entry if you hook it up to a decentralized exchange and then can trade that way. And really, it's just more about trying to prove to everybody. Again, we're always big on transparency. It's hard to be transparent because all this is off chain. And again, we have to be careful not to get red flagged through the brokerage either, because a lot of them don't like bots. So we're just doing what we can. We do post updates at least once a week. I've been super busy and I get bad about it, but we do try to at least post once a week in the Telegram chat, and I'll do my best to get better on that too. But the whole point is that we're making moves, and yeah, eventually we'll be able to release the spot to those that want to, do it themselves. Obviously, there'll be a fee with that, but yeah, and we will hopefully be able to continue EarnFi too for those that just want the easy button, and not do it themselves. So yeah, and then yeah, that was it, man. Everything else is good. We no news with Universe Madness. We're still building for our pack sale. So we'll give you an update when that is ready. But right now the main focus has just been trying to get a publisher and letting the development studio finish the full-fledged game. So we'll keep you up to date on all that.
I know I've got 2 big stakes ending November 30th. So however that pans out, maybe we'll restake for that 30 days and we'll do it live on our AMA. We can show people how to do that, because it'll be like I don't know, like a 9 million token stake when I do it, because I've been compounding so much. So we'll do that in a couple weeks, guys. I'm excited about that because we're going to be earning tickets. And that's it, guys. We're here every Tuesday night talking about Bernard Bonds, Honor versus Baddest, EarnFi, DexFi, Plazm, everything, guys. We answer all the questions. Or Grover does. Thank God Furry Blue Me. He is here. He's a legend, and nobody else does this. Founder, co-founder, owners are in front of your face every Tuesday night. He also does AMAs on Thursday nights for Honor versus Madness and Plazm and EMP. I don't know what else you guys want to hear. It's 100% transparency all the time, all day, every day. And that's what people want. It's what the space needs. Nobody else does it, but we're doing it right here every Tuesday night. So with that said, I hope everybody has a great rest of their Tuesday evening, and we'll see you in the next one.
Cheers.